When the dust settles, there is only one man that can stand victorious. Supercross. When man and machine come together as one to test their ability on a dirt bike battlefield. And where sometimes things can come undone. They are as limitless as they come. And they test the boundaries of gravity. Supercross. Action in every second. Who'll be left standing when the dust settles? It's time to go full throttle in round one of the Terex Australian Supercross Championship.
Hello and welcome to Morris Park Speedway in Dubbo for round one of the Terex Australian Supercross Championships, brought to you by Petters. I'm Lee Hogan, joined by Cam Williams and Jerry Bernardo. We have got the under-19s and the lights package for you this evening. Welcome, Cam.
Amazing day here in Dubbo, isn't it, Lee? We're down there a little bit early and checking out some of the atmosphere in the pits, and really is a good time for families to come down. We got down also and caught up with some of our leading contenders.
Always trying to better myself, third last year was pretty good, first year on the team, second year on the team this year, we hopefully we can improve in our result and be a title contender.
I had an injury through for motocross, so it's been a tough year, but my body feels 100% now and the series feels like I could do really well this year, so I'm feeling good. I've had a good preparation into this first round and want to do well.
Well, the riders are primed and ready to get into it, but let's take a bit of a look at this tight and technical circuit. A relatively short start straight into a flat turn. Now, this is a very tricky rhythm section straight out of that first turn.
Yeah, really tricky, isn't it? And we saw Luke Clout and Luke Stipe looking very, very good along with that. And along with those big whoops in this section, Luke Clout looked exceptional through there, Lee.
A spectacular triple jump that our little arrow just absolutely scrubbed it over and looked great. As we approach the finish line section, another little rhythm section here and a tricky whoops onto a triple around a corner, and we have got a double that was sorting the boys out. We even had some of the little 85cc's up and over. That completes a lap.
And now we get to look at it from the rider's perspective with the GoPro lap.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll here in Heat 1 with the lights here at Dubbo. And our start list, we can see number 4 there, Stephen Clark on the Suzuki machine. Luke Stike, he's on the Serco Yamaha. Scott Collum, all the way from New Zealand.
And we've got Kim Ashkenazi, James Booth Elliott, Cade Mosick, Mitch Norris, Errol Willis, David Mellish, Lincoln Nicol, and of course Andrew Collins. Just quickly, Lee, you and I saw Cade Mosick in practice. Looked like he was overriding it just a little bit, but man, he is fast tonight.
Yeah, he sure is exceptionally fast. He was just overcooking a couple of the corners, but we will see better stuff from him later on. We're about to see the drop of the gate here in Heat 1 of the lights. A great jump out of the gate. Looked to be Stephen Clark from the middle. Number 4 on the Suzuki nearly lost that front wheel.
Wow, Stephen Clark came terribly close. Get a look at this one, 52. It's Kim Ashkenazi who's going to rocket into a lead here. Man, this guy is as old as time and he's still going at it, Ashcan. Just been passed now by Luke Stike it is, and I think going up the inside of him as well. it's going to be the second of that Motor Pro Suzuki. That's going to be Scott Collins. So good ride here for Jay Foreman and his Suzuki guys.
Well, Stephen Clark has been unbelievable across that first set of whoops, the bigger whoops. Now, where they're about to approach now, the little corrugated iron ones. Have a look at Luke Stike across there. Up the inside, makes the pass. Stephen Clark with the old over and under move.
Yeah, he's not going to let that one go quite so easily, Stephen Clark. And again, he tries to get back to the inside of Stike. Stike has a bobble, and now Stephen Clark back into the lead again. Looking very good at the moment, Stephen Clark. We saw him have that massive crash last year in this series. Stephen Clark in a ruling man for the entire motocross series, so he will be very, very focused on his performance this year in the Supercross.
Well, let's have a look at the replay here. Stephen Clark jumped out of that gate unbelievably. He had Luke Stike there in the middle, who's just trying to get an elbow there in front of Cade Mosey. There's all kinds of plastic bumping into each other, but you called it, Kim Ashkenazi it was, that went around the outside and ended up putting himself into a great position there. Have a look at the GoPro footage. This is middle of the pack stuff. You're sweating bullets when you're back there.
Oh, you are, especially when you're seeing what's going on with Stephen Clark now attacking the front. So Errol Willis didn't get the best of his jumps off the gate there, and it's going to cost him a little bit messy in those first few turns, but back out in front, Motor Pro Suzuki rider Stephen Clark, he's got a bit more of an advantage now over Luke Stike, and he actually looks pretty good right now, Lee. Looks like that the long break in the off-season has probably helped him out just that little bit.
He's such a nice guy too. He's just doing a little bit of slip sliding at the moment. There's a few little slippery corners, but you mentioned his crash that he had earlier on. He had that big crash last year. Now, I don't care who you are, that's going to rattle your cage. If you end up throwing the bike away and landing all by yourself without the machine, yeah, you're probably going to break some bones, but you're going to do yourself a little bit of psychological damage, I dare say.
That was probably one of the scariest crashes I've seen, along with that Chad Reed arrangement, you know. Tough block at the very base of that triple, and he was jettisoned by the start of a triple, so he travelled about 45 feet in the air on his own without his bike. Very scary.
The only positive that we can pull out of both of those crashes for both Stephen Clark and for Chad Reed is that neither of them had any idea that it was about to happen until it happened. So you basically just slot into autopilot mode and do whatever comes natural to you. If you had any clue that one of those crashes were going to happen as you approach that section, you'd probably have some form of heart failure or stroke, I dare say.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard not to, wouldn't it? I was working that event, and I think I just about had a heart failure as well watching Stephen Clark over this one. But right now, looks to me like he's back to some very solid form, Stephen Clark. Luke Stike was very, very good in our outdoor season, and again, he represented Australia in the Motocross of Nations in Lommel not long ago. But right now, Stephen Clark looking very strong. I'm very, very confident.
Well, have a look at the wheel tap that we just saw from Stephen Clark there. Danny Ham would be over working in Western Australia in the mines at the moment, just rolling over, just thinking, that should be me out there on the Suzuki wheel tap, and he's the wheel tapping master.
We saw Gavin Faith last year do a whole lot of wheel tapping as well. It's very good to watch, very enjoyable to watch, and shows someone who's got an incredible amount of skill and control over their machine. Oh, as we say that, the commentators curse, just a little bit of a bobble, almost a stall almost for Stephen Clark in that corner.
Well, those berms are just getting a little bit on the powdery side, and it's hard because you're trying to charge, you're trying to be aggressive, but you also need to be nice and smooth on the throttle so that the bike doesn't completely step out sideways on you. And that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing trying to get a bit of a balance going on is Stephen Clark. He's trying to pull away. He knows he's got one of the fastest lights riders in the country who just represented Australia in the Motocross Des Nations, and we're talking about Luke Stike. Another little mistake there from Stephen Clark, just trying to iron out those little issues.
That's really what costs you, isn't it? You see these guys when they race in America, they don't make those small, itty-bitty 1% mistakes. Stephen Clark, just like as you said, just got to iron out a few little issues, but right now, his game is still very strong.
Well, Suzuki make a great lights bike. Their 250cc F is a great, very agile, nice power, and obviously Stephen Clark's doing a great thing on it at the moment. And having a team manager such as Jay Foreman, he guides you well, he points you in the right direction, provides a good team structure, and they're doing exceptional out here at the moment. We'll have to wait and see how he goes in that big 15-lap final later on, but it's all coming together nicely as we speak.
Yeah, he's a very cool, calm and collected customer, is Jay Foreman. On board right now, though, with Errol Willis on the Raceline Pro Suzuki. Oh man, this GoPro view, I find myself sitting up out of my seat every time I watch it. I actually do want to get on the bike and ride, except for that bit. I don't like those whips. They're not so much fun, are they, Lee?
No, well, they're good fun, but the GoPro makes you feel like you're about to be seasick or something, perhaps. But have to make mention of, great to see Errol Willis on board with. You can see his peak there, Monster Energy. Got Monster Energy on board as a big sponsor for this year, and that is all because of his dominating riding last year in the under-19s.
He was phenomenal last year in the under-19s, Errol Willis, and Monster Energy also coming on board with the series as well as the official energy drink sponsor of his series very late in the series. series, so really good to have those guys on board, and they very, very good for Australian motocross. They put a lot of support and they help out a lot of our guys.
Well, Australian all around the world, they seem to be behind just about everything in America as well. Let's scan our eyes back to the head of the pack, and the lead has stretched out a little bit. Luke Steik will not like this. He has been dropped off the back just a tad from our race leader, Stephen Clark. However, it is only a qualifying heat. Who knows what's going on in the helmet up there of Luke Steik? He's
a very mentally strong and tough character, Luke Steik. He won an under-19s championship a few years ago, so he knows how to get it done. I'd suggest he's just sitting back there in second place right now. As you said, maybe a few mental games here with Stephen Clark right now. Luke Steik, but Steik, he'll go back to that truck and they'll just do a little bit of work and he'll be right come the final time.
I love watching Stephen Clark lofting that front wheel into that big set of whoops there. He's such a good kid, always got a good smile, a nice smile on his face. He's always got something good to say. You never hear him being negative and down in the dumps, and that's what we love to see. And he has got only one corner to go, and he'll take victory here in Heat 1 of the Lights at Dubbo. Round 1 of the Terex Australian Supercross Championships, and a knack-knack to boot. Is that a little bit of a tribute there to Jeremy McGrath, perhaps? Wow, that was great to see. You don't see that every day.
Yeah, you got to love Stephen Clark. As you said, he's a vibrant young kid and he loves it. He gets the win in heat number 1 of the Terex Pro Lights from Luke Steik, Scott Collum, Kim Ashkenazi, James Booth Elliott, Cade Mosig all the way back in 6th, and then Mitch Norris.
Well, Mosig will be hoping to pick it up a couple of spots, that's for sure, coming into the main event. But a sensational victory there for Stephen Clark. Luke Steik, great job in second. Let's go down to our winner.
Stephen Clark, just with a crushing performance in the Pro Lights. I just kept asking the boys, hey, tell me a little bit about Clarky, and all they could mention was that almost life-threatening crash that you had. Mate, you must have just pushed that behind you, because you looked in fine form right now. Did you feel it?
Yeah, it was good. Just got out to a good start and tried some clean laps, you know, just tried not to make as many mistakes, and that was good. It's been 11 months since I've raced, which was, you know, my crash last year at Super X, but you know, it just shows that with good hard work and dedication, it doesn't matter how long you spend off the bike, you know, just keep trucking along and it'll come round. So just hopefully take that to the main event and come away with some good results.
Welcome back to Dubbo for round 1 of the Australian Supercross Championships. It is time now for Heat 2 of the Lights. Let's have a look at our rider list here. Gavin Faith all the way from the USA, Ryan Marmont and Luke Clout.
And we go with Duran Stapleton, Matt Plagman, Corey Lucas, interesting to note, one of the few guys out there on a 252 stroke. So we'll keep our eye on that one. Taylor Potter, good to see him back. And Casey Turner, he just made a move onto a fresh team. This is going to be a tough heat, Lee.
Yeah, well, you called it Taylor Potter. He's a young privateer from Victoria. He's coming back from some nasty injuries, and I'm definitely hoping he's going to be able to get out there and get amongst it.
Yeah, better stay out of the skate parks, I think, Taylor Potter, hadn't he? 151 Nick Sutherland, a privateer from Moree. This kid has a lot of speed and just needs that one opportunity. Along with this kid, Luke Clout, spending the greater majority of his life right now at the Millsaps training facility. And man, he's got some speed coming into this heat.
He was so fast going through that qualifying session earlier on today, the timed qualifying. We're in the starter's hands here. We can see the green lights flashing on top of the starting gate, and they are off.
Work their way down to this unit hole shot, and oh wow, it looks to me like Gavin Faith's done a very, very good job early on. Gavin Faith, he's being chased there by the 144 of Kieran Hall. Interesting to note, another one of the 2 strokes in this 250 class. Kieran Hall doing a very good job on that full force racing machine, straight to the inside of Gavin Faith. No beg pardons, no thank yous whatsoever. Welcome to Australia, and I'm going to put it right up the inside of you. Hooroo.
Great pass there was from Kieran Hall, and have a listen when you can. Have a listen to the sound of that 252 stroke. They sound so good, especially when they're cracking across the top of a set of whoops.
Looking great. Oh, Luke Clout comes right up the inside of Gavin Faith. No beg pardons there once again. Another Aussie kid on American, and Gavin Faith returns the favour. Thank you very much.
That's just no change there. You have $1, I'll take $1 right back off you. That was some gnarly stuff. That first pass was a tad nasty. I'm not sure if it was intentional, and then just comes up short. We have got all kinds of crazy action going on here in the early stages of Heat 1. Taylor Potter up the inside, pushing Corey Lucas out, and then we've got Duran Stapleton ducking up the inside. Let's have a bit of a look at the replay, and of course our GoPro vision going into that first turn. Luke Clout off to the left, Taylor Potter just in front. Luke Clout just slipping sideways up that inside.
Yeah, looking a little bit aggressive there, wasn't he, Luke Clout? A little bit excitable. He's only a young guy, you know. We'll switch to the reverse view here, and you can see he's very, very fast off that start gate.
Actually, watch. He bounces off. Ryan Marmont, boom, watch this. Bang, right there, pushes him a little bit wide. But thankfully, the guys that are at this level of racing, if that's your local C-grade race on the weekend, everyone's going down in a pile-up. But these guys manage to get the elbows up a bit higher, and they keep it together.
Nick Sutherland, thank you very much. We'll just test and see how good are those GoPros. We saw that whole crash, and we're going to see him get back on his machine. Bit of bad luck there for Nick Sutherland. As I said, a privateer, really doing it tough out of Moree, doing it on his own. But at the front, this guy, Kieran Hall, really strong junior, and now he's had a year off or so and come back on this YZ250. He was exceptional towards the back end of our motocross season.
Well, he's riding amazing, but I tell you, there's only so long you can ride a 252 stroke quite like this with that kind of intensity before you start to fatigue just a tad. Now, I don't know if he's putting in 7 days a week training and he's got Ironman fitness, but those things are bound to, look, I love them, don't get me wrong, but they're going to give you a beat down sooner or later.
While we're talking about that, Lee, in regards to a beat down, what is it exactly, the difference between the 2-stroke and the 4-stroke for the people at home that's going to make you work so much harder?
Well, there's no in between. You're either on it or you're not on it. There's not. You don't really think of the word smooth and then see a picture of a 252 stroke next to it. They're very aggressive. The 4 strokes, whether it's the 254 stroke or the big 450, yeah, they've still got a lot of horsepower, but they're very smooth. They don't have the traditional power band that, you know, the 2 strokes have got. So yeah, that's the main reason why they tire you out so much.
And just obviously a little bit harder to hang on to as we see Gavin Faith just case that little bit of a jump coming out of the whoops there. But at the moment, Kieran Hall, he still looks very relaxed and very much in his rhythm right now. I'll watch towards the back end and see if he does fade just that little bit as we go. I guess, as Lee said, probably more like and as we said, just that little bit of a mistake, a little bit too much power coming on, spinning up that back wheel and almost stalling the machine.
Well, not only the power characteristic of the 252 stroke, but when you're riding them, you get so much adrenaline. You get charged and you give it a little bit of power, and it makes you want to ride on the edge and push really hard. It takes an exceptionally smooth rider to be able to ride one of those smooth. And as we can see right now, Gavin Faith starting to reel him in just a tad. But hey, you've got to take your cap off. Tip of the cap to you, Kieran Hall, for sure.
Fantastic ride. The guys from Full Force Racing, they'll be really happy with this. First year team in the Australian Motocross Championships. Done a great job. They've got Sam Duncanson running as well. And Kieran Hall, well, he's doing very well for him. But man, look at Gavin Faith just blitz those whoops. This guy's looking very, very strong. Second place in our series last year, and he's back here to try and win it for the guys at Carlton Dry Honda Thor Racing this year.
Well, he was so close to winning the championship last year, the Monster Energy Super X Championship. It was only really just that last round, had a couple of little mishaps and it cost him, but it was almost certain he was looking like getting it at one stage. So he's come back trying to make amends. He'll be trying to get the championship this year, and if he can do that, then that'll make it 2 Lights Championships for the Carlton Dry Thor Honda team in this calendar year.
Fantastic effort, hasn't it, from those guys this year? They've done exceptionally well. Gavin Faith also, a lot of experience this year in the US, filling in for some injured riders on big name teams over there. Guys like Michael LaRocca helping him out and just showing him a little bit more how to smooth it down, how to calm down just that little bit. And we're seeing that right now. Look at that drive through that turn, really starting to charge through his whoops down. Just closed up a pile of ground on Kieran Hall then.
Well, it looks like he's worked a lot on his fitness. I know last year speed wasn't a problem. The bike was unbelievable. There was a lot of comments being made at the sound of it. Have a look at the speed across those smaller of the 2 whoops there, and slows down just a little bit, trying to prevent Kieran Hall from being able to cut back over and under again and remake that pass. But I really don't think Kieran Hall's got the energy to be able to battle with Gavin Faith at the moment.
No, it doesn't look too much like it, and I think he might have stalled that bike coming out of the corner as well and had to bump start it as they got going again. So Gavin Faith at the moment right now looking very good. We go to the Monster Energy replay and we see this pass. Gavin Faith right up the inside and pretty much stops Kieran Hall dead on his tracks, and then Hall a little bit aggressive. Yeah, I think he might have had a bump start after that one, Lee, as well.
Well, that's your textbook perfect block pass there. First of all, placing your bike in the right place, but not going too far ahead so that the rider can cut back underneath. You need to be able to control that line and prevent them from being able to either go around the outside or cut back underneath you.
Yeah, he executed it to a T right then, Gavin Faith, and just stopped Kieran Hall dead on his tracks and made the move. And just over those smaller set of whoops again. He does look very, very strong, Gavin Faith. Flowing his sections together, riding very, very well right now.
Exceptional job for Gavin Faith. He's coming through. He's got to be looking forward to the main event, the big 15-lapper on the Carlton Dry Thor Honda. Last corner, we can see the checkered flags flying, and he takes heat number 2 here at the Terex Australian Supercross Championships in the lights class. Let's take a look at our results.
Gavin Faith gets the win from Kieran Hall. Fantastic ride for Kieran Hall. Then we go back with Luke Clout, Ryan Marmont. Rounding up the top 5, Ricky Gerwood on that one. Interesting to note, DNF there for Taylor Potter. A bit more bad luck for the young privateer.
You've got to be impressed with Kieran Hall. A sensational effort on that 252 stroke, doing it for the Yamaha and his privateer team. Let's go down with our race winner.
Gavin Faith up to the podium in full stalker mode, chasing down Kieran Hall. You seen that 2-stroke bouncing around? Looked like it might have been getting a little tired. Were you thinking the same?
Yeah, I don't know. I just went out there to ride my own race and, just charged to the front, and that's what I did, and it worked out.
It's under 19's time here, the final for Dubbo, round 1 of the Terex Australian Supercross Championships. We have got some young guns here. These kids are not scared of anything. They know how to twist that throttle.
Yeah, they're not scared at all, are they? The unit under 19s. Jay Wilson, former 85cc champion. There's the number 47 of Sam Martin and Jared Davis. Now we can go on and on. Australian motocross is in such good hands right now.
Well, a couple of KTM riders, Cale Makem and Dylan Long, have both been unbelievable form with the series that you've called earlier on in the year. You would be the first to admit that for sure. Megan Rutledge, certainly our best women racer in Australia, but she is one of the best in the world riding for Monster Energy Kawasaki, a shining light in the future of Australian Supercross.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal rider, and she's not afraid to get in there and bang bars with the boys and have a good go. Megan Rutledge, she's a tough kid, but keep your eye on Jay Wilson, and as you said, the number 96 Cale Makem. Man, that kid's got some form coming into this series.
Yeah, Wade Hunter you mentioned, but Ben George, the younger brother of Luke George, who everyone would remember as an absolute superstar in the sport of Supercross. We are in the starters' hands, and we're only moments away from the drop of the gate here. Cale Makem up the far inside in the orange and blue gear. Number 96 with the blue background. They jumped out of the gate in a little bit of a wheelie from Cale, and he's got a great start. But Hayden Melross on the Honda. He's on the Thor Honda, and he has done an exceptional job to nail that whole shot.
First race out of seniors for Hayden Melross, and what more can you want? Looks like Cale Makem quickly makes easy work of Dylan Long there on the 117. Tough day for Dylan Long. Didn't look real great on the start line down there, looking a little bit ill. So, oh, that's a whopper.
Bikes have gone everywhere. Sam Martin has had to exit off the left-hand side of the track. That is number 23, Wade Hunter, that's gone down that you just mentioned earlier. Jared Davis, number 25, that we saw last year get some quite decent results here. But let's have another look at our replay of the start. And Cale Makem up the inside. A very, very close battle into that first turn. But a nice start from Hayden Melross as the fireworks go off.
Yeah, claimed that unit hole shot very well, Hayden Melross. Had almost a full bike length as they came into a turn. That's a fantastic hole shot. Dylan Long working the outside line there, just being patient, getting on the gas at perfectly the right time. And Cale Makem, well, he's another one of our 252 stroke charges, and we'll see it. Here's this crash lead. Wade Hunter looks like he's just being clipped there, I think, by the number 88 Jake Vella.
Well, it looked to be a front wheel tuck of Wade Hunter and straight over the handlebars, and that bike has slammed Jared Davis into the side, and that's caused all kinds of grief. Elijah Weesey from South Australia there having a few dramas, and Nick Scott also. These guys are just, all they care about is getting away from the carnage and back into the race, which is so easy to happen on the first lap of a race.
Especially with these under-19s guys, aren't they, Lee? They're so keen and eager, and they will leave nothing wanting. They're going to get in there, they're going to have a shot. They've got a future that they want to make in this sport, and their time frame to be able to do it is very, very short. They get a year in under-19s or so, then they have to go into pro lights, and that's a whole different ball game once again.
Well, a rider that's really knocking on the door for securing himself a good factory spot in the future sometime is Cale Makem. He's really proactive with his sponsorship side of things as far as social media, posting videos, etc. And it's all working very good. But a rider that already has a massive following is all over the back of Cale Makem, and that's Dylan Long. This kid is amazing in the air. He's so natural. Looking up that right-hand side, he's managed to find a very good line from Cale Makem. If you see riders ducking up that outside on the whoops there, they're trying to stay away from the shiny stuff. They're trying to find a little bit of traction.
That's what the number 10, Jay Wilson's done here on that race line. Pirelli Suzuki looking very strong right now. As I said earlier, former 85cc world champion. So these guys are in some pretty elite company right now. But Hayden Melrose, well, we didn't mention him in the opening here, Lee, and he's going to make us pay for it.
Well, he's looking very, very smooth and fast at the moment, and he's got company. He would know, look, as he has a little bit of a sneaky look over that right shoulder, he can look back and check and go, yep, I have got a rider all over the back of me. I'm not starting to pull out just yet. I've got a battle on my hands, and this is highly likely going to go all the way to the wire.
I would say it will, especially with these kids. They just want it so bad. So many of these kids are so driven, so determined to win. Right now, Hayden Melrose, well, he's the one. Interesting to watch here, Kale Makem. Man, he has got some good speed through those whoops. A little bit of a bobble there for Hayden Melrose.
Yeah, big bobble there. He bounced that front wheel across a couple, and that bumps the heart rate up a little bit. Kale Makem would have seen that, no doubt, as he makes his way up onto the back of the Honda rider. Now, as far as lap time go and as far as different sections of the track, both Hayden Melrose and Kale Makem seem to have completely different parts to the track where they shine. One seems to reel him in a little bit, the other one will pull away in another section.
Yeah, this last section of track is definitely Hayden Melrose's. He's just very strong through. He's got a good rhythm. Yet we get towards those whoops, and Kale Makem, he looks like he's almost riding across those whoops, just in search of that, as you were saying before, some good clean dirt with plenty of grip on it.
Well, one thing that the boys need to try to do for sure is to get their timing, try to get their rhythm sorted. If you've got a landing ramp, try to stick it, because every single time you straddle one of those landing ramps, it takes away a little bit of your energy. Have a look as Kale Makem is hooking across the top of those whoops, and he finds himself right on the back wheel of Hayden Melrose.
One of the most technical part of any supercross track, isn't it? Those whoops, and Kale Makem, for a young guy, he really has got his game sorted with that lot.
Well, we really can't stress enough the fact that Hayden Melrose is about to go back-to-back with wins if he can hold on here. Now, you might say, hang on, isn't this his first senior supercross? Well, yes, it is. He won the last round of the junior development last year with the Monster Energy Super X. He's come out here, he's leading the first supercross he's ever done in seniors. Of course, it's the under-19s. What an amazing feat that will be. A great job for himself and, of course, Honda.
Definitely turned some team managers' heads as well, looking towards next year, straight out of juniors and leading something as technical as a supercross track. You know, and this track as well, tight and technical, as we said in our opening. And Kale Makem, well, this is the section where he closes in on Hayden Melrose. He's done it the last few laps, and watch this line again from Makem. He works away his cross. Oh, just front wheel bounces off those, and not quite as smooth as it was last time.
A little bit of mistake there from Kale Makem that time, but that's one thing that we have to mention as far as Hayden Melrose goes. He's always looked very similar to this. He's always looked exceptionally fast and very, very strong. However, last year and the year before, he didn't end up winning last year. He ended up getting second to Billy Jackson, who is on the under-19s this year. But that being said, Hayden Melrose now seems to have smoothed everything out. He doesn't seem to make quite as many mistakes as what he used to.
And it's such a tough sport. Mistakes really do make you pay. You make one small mistake, you can end up off the track or on your head. It's so tough right now. It's so unforgiving, supercross. And the speed of these guys, you make that one mistake and there is someone there going to pounce.
Melrose continues to lead now as he approaches lapped riders. This is what makes it difficult when you're leading a race. It's one thing to have the clean air in front of you, which is no problem whatsoever. It's when you come across the lap riders, they don't realise they're being put a lap down until the race leader comes through. So quite often, if they have no awareness of what's going on around them, and we saw just there, Hayden Melrose was forced to jump 2-1 off the triple.
Interesting to note that, isn't it? Because they're still in a race. They may not be in a race with the guy who's coming to lap them, but they're definitely in a race with someone else. And so potentially they could sweep across and cause a little bit of grief. Oh, that's Dylan Long gone down. The 117 of Dylan Long. He's down and he's really struggling with that machine. It's got electric start, that KTM. He's up, but he looks a little bit dejected. He's bent those handlebars.
You can see that right side bent right down. Now, unfortunately, the only way you can end up at the end of the whoops like that is if you have a big crash. Not very often you'll see someone, I just had a little bit of a lay down at the end of the whoops. It's normally because you've gone end for end over the front of the bike. We didn't catch what happened there, but what we did catch is Megan Rutledge going off the side of the whoops there.
Yep, picked it up pretty quickly though, Megan Rutledge. She just had that little bit of an error, straight up and over that big triple down the back and back into her rhythm. Now, rhythm, this man's got plenty of it at the moment. Hayden Melrose, I would say he's actually not too far off putting a lap there on Megan Rutledge.
He's doing a sensational job up the far right-hand side of the very short corrugated whoop section, but he's still got company in the form of Kyle Makem, who lost the front wheel over that. A great little old school technique. We used to see Anthony Gobert do that in such good style many, many years ago. You don't see it that much nowadays, but great to see it being put back into play here in Supercross.
Out of that last corner now again, Makem inside 2 seconds, so it almost close enough to put a move on Melross at this point. Maybe show a wheel, start to play some head games, but there is Megan Rutledge, so Hayden Melross gets by her. That too much issue. Keep an eye on that one now. Third place, still Jay Wilson at this point in time.
Yeah, the battle continues at the head of the pack. A great little battle between Honda and KTM, but not just Honda and KTM, it's a battle between four-stroke versus two-stroke, and the strong characteristics between these two different types of bikes. One produces a little bit more power, the 252-stroke, noticeably more overall horsepower. If you were to have a drag race with these two bikes next to each other, massive difference between the two.
There was a lot of conjecture this year about that, Lee. The starts, does it make a difference in the starts, or is it out of the corners?
I believe it makes a big difference in the starts. In the corners, the smooth power characteristic of the four-stroke starts to come back into its own a little bit. But let's not forget, when the 450s first came out, the 252 strokes, they were in with the big open class 450s. They were originally, and for quite a while, were put in there. Now, I believe that probably wasn't quite fair having them up against the 450s, that's for sure. They're just not competitive.
Very competitive in this field, and a lot of these guys like Kyle Makem, they can afford to race with these 252 strokes. Easy to maintain themselves. They're not spending a bomb on parts every other weekend, where the factory teams, well, they've got the budget to be able to do it. So it's great to see someone like Kyle Makem. He can afford to go racing, and we get to see the talent that this kid has.
Well, it really is only a couple of manufacturers that are still giving the 252 stroke a nudge. I know a lot of them left them behind and just went, hey, this is the way of the future. And, to a certain degree, it will eventually, that's the way it's going to be, without a doubt.
Yeah, the pure motocross fans, they still love the sound of a two-stroke, and you can see their heads get turned. Every time a two-stroke goes by, their heads will turn and they'll have a look just because they love that sound. It's such an iconic sound, and if you're a pure motocross head, then you get down to the start gate and sniff the smell of that burnt oil on the start gate.
Don't get me started on the Honda 500 two-stroke, my favourite bike ever. Let's get back into the Supercross action here, and of course Hayden Melross is in the latter stages of the race here, and he has strung together an amazing main event. He has started to pull out just a little bit now over Kyle Makem back there in second place. If you can get yourself up on the podium in the first round of 4, you're doing yourself a very good justice to get up there at the end of the series.
Yeah, look, especially in this unit under 19's class, these guys, no disrespect to these guys, but they just lack a little bit of consistency, so they might have one great weekend and the following weekend just have a terrible weekend. Where Hayden Melross right now, he's taking advantage of a great start.
Well, it's funny how it works, isn't it? The under-19s guys, they don't go, well, look, hey, I'm going to work on my consistency, and then later on I'll just try to add that speed. They get the speed straight off the bat. They're just a little bit all over the shop in some areas, but they do an unbelievable job. And from a spectator's point of view, quite often these guys are better to watch than the lights and the opens, because they will just let it all hang out. They'll make passes that, well, probably aren't really possible, but they'll just give it a try anyway.
Yeah, they're not shy, and as we said, they only really get 1 year before the factory teams will... Oh! Hayden Melross, both feet off. He has saved that by the hair on his little chinny chin there. He was so close to losing that one, Hayden Melross, and he's on the last lap, Lee. That would have been an absolute disaster for the Honda rider.
Well, I'm wondering if his whole race just flashed before his eyes there. I mean, most top riders out there would have had a circumstance where on the very last lap of a race they've thrown it all away, and he would have been thinking to himself, no, this is my first ever race in seniors. I don't want to throw it all away, but it wasn't to be, and he has come up trumps, race winner, and what a victory there for Hayden Melross on the Thor Honda machine, and he will take maximum points into round 2, and he will be chuffed with that.
Big fender slap as well from Kyle Makem. He's ecstatic as well. The young Victorian third place, Jay Wilson on that race line, Pirelli Suzuki. What a fantastic race, Lee.
That was a great job. The first, second and third place getters, Jay Wilson not too bad at all in third, but the battle continued between first and second right the way through to the very end. Kyle Makem dropping off just a little bit. Let's go down to our race winner. We've got Jerry Bernardo down with Hayden Melross.
Well, yeah, my starts have been great. Coming into this, I've just been practicing starts non-stop, and in the heat race, got off to a ripper of a start, whole shot, and won that, and managed to do it again in the final. And start up front, and I had an awesome race. I started up front and I finished up front, and that's what I had to do. I had a lot of nerves coming into here, but I got the job done.
Under 19's done and dusted. It is time now for the lights final here at Dubbo. We have got 15 laps. We are back to the traditional formats we've been waiting for. It is good times.
Looking amazing down there on the line at the moment. Gavin Faith, Ryan Marmont, Stephen Clark, Luke Stike, Luke Cloud as well, Scott Collum, Jaron Stapleton, Corey Lucas, Lincoln Nickel, Cade Mosig. Interesting, Corey Lucas there on the two-stroke as well, and Cade Mosig made the final. Looked very fast, very, very fast.
Looking forward to seeing what Mosig's got for us. He'll be hoping to pick it up, and I think he will. My young lad, Durant Stapleton, riding for the BCP Fox Honda, hoping for big things from him. Kim Ashkenazi, can he come back and repeat what he did in the qualifying heat? A sensational start. Don't think he'll have the fitness to go 15 laps, but he's still in there punching with the best.
Good to see Nicholas Sutherland back up and running again as well. We saw that big crash from the GoPro. Oh, this is going to be a tough one, Lee. We're waiting for the green lights to go now. Terex Pro Lights just about to get the jump.
15 laps and they're off. Who is going to score the whole shot? It is number 14, Durant Stapleton. He has scored the whole shot on the Honda machine.
That is the whole shot of all whole shots. Jaron Stapleton had almost 3 bike lengths into the first corner. Wow, he will take away that really classy unit watch for the unit whole shot. This guy's giving away a watch every time they get a whole shot. Get a look at the lead Jaron Stapleton's got over the field. This kid's a privateer working out of the back of a van. What a fantastic story. Here's Jaron Stapleton, number 14, BCP Honda, and he's out in front of the likes of Gavin Faith, Cade Mosig, Scuba Steve Clark, all on factory equipment. Go, you good thing.
Well, it makes me smile seeing Durant up the head of the pack like that. He's got such speed. He trains with Shane Boyd just about every single day, and he's so fast. Just a few more races like this, and it'll prove to him that he can actually do this and compete with the best. And I guess if you expect to be up there, that's when this can start to happen week in, week out. But great start for Durant, and let's see what everyone else has got here.
Yeah, it's all about belief, isn't it, Lee? You've got to believe. Here we go with the GoPro replay of this unit hole shot. Good start out of the inside again, but looks to me like Stike's got a good one as well. But by the time we're looking at this, Jaron Stapleton's 5 bike lengths in front. He's gone. He got an absolute flyer.
Yeah, unbelievable start for Durant. He had a couple of bike lengths just pretty much immediately out of the gate. But on board with Scott Collum here. He's on the Suzuki machine. And he must have either got a bit of wheel spin or the front wheel lofted up. But he is back in the middle of the pack there. Errol Willis just to the left. Now have a look at this here. James Booth Elliott come up short and got clipped at the same time. And he has gone down hard.
Yeah, he's done a very good job there, James Booth Elliott, to get away with that one. Here's Jaron Stapleton carrying that speed off a fantastic start. And he's managing to hold Heat 1 winner Stephen Clark at bay right now. And he's got a good advantage over Stephen Clark, and he hasn't really capitulated so far, Jaron Stapleton. He's looking very, very strong.
Well, I'm liking the fact that he's not paying too much attention to what's behind him at the moment. He just seems to be looking up ahead and focusing on what's going on up ahead. But, however, that being said, he's probably about to get some company and might see a bike up the inside in no time. That'll be a true test as to how he responds. But, hey, so proud of the kid at the moment. Oh!
Stephen Clark.
Stephen Clark. That was just a simple little front-end wash in the corner. Very uncharacteristic for Clark.
Yeah, a little bit powdery in that last corner, isn't it? So just a little bit too much front brake applied, and well, Jaron Stapleton's got a nice buffer back at the front again, doing a very, very good job. I know his dad will be in the pits right now. So proud of this kid.
Russ will be pumped, and no doubt Mick Sinclair from Fox down there will be ecstatic also. But Gavin Faith back there in second is doing a great job. Now, he's not even searching for that grippy line. He was just up on top of the slick stuff. Now, there's a very small percentage of the riders here tonight that can take that line and still get traction on something that you could almost look at and see your reflection in. It's that shiny.
He's coming too, isn't he? Like, he's on the charge now, Gavin Faith. He's got some clear track in front of him. He can zero in on the back of Jaron Stapleton. We've talked about it before. He gets just a bit of a faster rhythm, so when he gets on the back of Jaron Stapleton, he's going to be looking to make a pass straight away. Right now, though, Jaron Stapleton not looking back so far, just quite happy to ride his own race. Cade Mosig in third place now. Got a good start, Mosig. He just had to shuffle a little bit. Here he goes again. As we said, was exceptionally fast in practice and starting to show it now.
Well, Cade Mosig on the Monster Kawasaki still looking very aggressive and charging hard like we always expect him. You know you're going to get 100% out of Cade Mosig, but the main difference is it's all coming together. He's not overcooking the corners, he's not overcharging, he's just aggressive. You can see he's got the eye of the tiger going on and he's coming forward.
This man, Luke Stike, now sitting in fourth, just in front of Kieran Hall. So a solid result so far for Kieran Hall after second place in his heat race early on. Stike, though, starting to look the goods. Now here comes Gavin Faith has got right on the back wheel of Jaron Stapleton. This will be a test for the young Victorian right now. If he can hold off a rider the calibre of Gavin Faith for an extended period, he'll take a tremendous amount of confidence away from this.
Well, this could be the pass right here. Gavin Faith up the inside and a very nice, polite pass. There was no rudeness to that at all. Duran had a chance to rebound here. Let's see what he's got. He doesn't seem to be throwing in the towel straight away.
No, he goes to the inside here and just puts a wheel in on Gavin Faith, just changing line, but Faith able to quad out of that corner. Jaron Stapleton again. Well, as you said, you know, these guys, they're racing for keeps, aren't they? And that was very close to both of those guys ending up on the ground.
Well, you know, what do you do when you come in behind someone like a Gavin Faith? Do you try to throw a hook in the back and see if you can keep their pace, follow them around everywhere? Or do you try to show them a little bit of a wheel and show a little bit of character and a bit of get up and go?
Here's the onboard for GoPro with Gavin Faith on that pass for Jaron Stapleton. Just parks him in that corner a little bit and they charge back down that main straight. So Gavin Faith, as you said earlier in one of the heat races, got a very good block pass, knows how to do it exceptionally well.
Gavin Faith on the Carlton Drive Thor Honda is in a race-winning charge at the moment. He's in a rhythm, he's not riding loose. He doesn't look to be fatiguing whatsoever at all. He's well in his own little control at the moment. He's not pushing the limits, and this is all shaping up, unless we see something absolutely crazy and out of whack, this is all shaping up for his victory.
So you're his mechanic now, Lee. Let's put you in that position. You've got a pit board. What do you ride on the pit board and you hang over the side to Gavin Faith?
I'm his mechanic. I'm biting my nails at the moment. I don't want to be a mechanic. I'll be thinking, are those spokes going to break? Is that thing going to lock up? What's going on? There's no way I'm his mechanic. But hey, all right, I'll put myself into that position there. The pit board I'll be putting on for Gavin Faith. You don't need to reinvent the wheel with Gavin. You don't need to find any words of inspiration. You don't need to say pick it up or do anything different. You just give them the information that they need. And it's normally +5, +6. You give them the time frame and you tell them their laps. That's all they need to know. For someone like Duran, his mechanic could be going, get back into your rhythm, come on, push, drive, that kind of thing. So it just depends on the actual rider. But for Gavin Faith at the moment, hey, you probably don't even need a pit board. He's in his own world at the moment.
He is. We just watched Cade Mosey put it past there on Jaron Stapleton again. Duran working that inside line, but just now I guess maybe a little bit of fitness, or I'm not quite sure. Here we go on board with Errol Willis by the looks of this, and he's had a bit of an excursion. Not quite yet. Off you get, Errol. We'll pick you up in a second. We'll get back on that race line. Pirelli Suzuki just off to the side of that smaller set of whoops there for Errol. Oh, he's having a tough night.
Yeah, definitely a tough night at the office for Errol Willis, but how amazing is that GoPro footage? You don't want to be on board the machine when she goes end for end over the handlebars, but there's been a couple of times tonight where we've caught some unbelievable footage with that GoPro.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job, don't they? Interesting to note here, Luke Clout, the number 5, this kid was exceptional in time qualifying and practice today, and he's just all out of sorts right now. He looks just nowhere near as good as he did in qualifying.
Well, we don't really know what's happened. Has he gone down at the start of the race? To have a lap put down with the speed that he's got, there's no way it could be fitness that's playing the factor at the moment. So it has to be some kind of issue that he's come across, but certainly something that he'd be hoping to iron out before round 2.
Yeah, he's an amazing talent. Luke Cloud, as I said before, does a lot of time in America at the MTF. We expect to see bigger and better from that. Add to that, I suppose, it's his first senior Supercross in Australia, so I would say there may be just a little bit of nerves kicking around in his system at the start gate.
Well, I've got to say, from an outsider's point of view, he's done his job exceptionally well, because whether this was a guest rider, he's already been signed on Serco for next year. All that I can think is, if I was Gavin from Serco, I'd be looking at this kid to sign up as a development rider. You'd get him for next door to no money. He'd be happy to be on board and be riding for one of the biggest pro lights teams in the country, and he's done his job very, very well. He's put himself out there.
Great kid too, really good kid. Very, very good at talking and that sort of stuff. The guys at MTF do a fantastic job. As we go back on board with the GoPro, this is on board with your race leader, Gavin Faith. The number 2 Carlton Dry Honda Core racing machine sweeps left through that unit first turn. Here's this rhythm section that we saw catch out Matt Moss last week.
Yeah, well, that's true. You know, it's a very, very tricky rhythm section, and you need to be on your A game. And we see Luke Clout, we were just talking about him before. He's had another excursion off the side of the track. Sometimes with the younger kids, when it goes wrong, it seems to escalate. It seems to snowball, and one thing will turn into 2, will turn into 3. And then next thing, the checkered flag comes out, you're back in the pits, and your mechanic or your dad speaking to you going, what went wrong? And you're going, well, I don't know. I don't really remember much. That's what can happen sometimes. With the older pro guys, quite often, one of the hardest things as an athlete in motocross or supercross is being able to take that one mistake, nip it in the bud, get back into a rhythm, and turn a bad race into a good race.
you just have to pick yourself up, don't you? And the pros know how to do that mid-race, where a lot of these kids, they haven't got that skill set just yet. They've got the speed, they've got the talent and the ability. They've just got a few little things to iron out in terms of their racecraft.
Well, it's all coming together at the moment for Gavin Faith on the Carlton Dry Thor Honda. It's shaping up to be victory number 1 here at round 1 of the Australian Supercross Championships. Track's starting to dry out just a tad. It's getting a little bit on the slippery side for these guys, and that's where you need even more throttle control. You need to make sure as you start to fatigue, that right hand of yours that twists the throttle, when you've got lactic acid going through your forearm of that right hand, the last thing you want to be doing is smooth. You want to be either flat out or not on at all, and it's a very hard thing to do.
After a cracking start, looks like Jaron Staples is just slipping back a little bit now. There's Ryan Marmont in shot just in front of Marmont. I think Scuba Stephen Clark had just gone by as well. So Marmont, this kid's got great throttle control. 2 tough years in terms of injury for Ryan Marmont. So fingers crossed we get him back out here again next year. We spoke to him earlier today and he's very, very focused and very keen to put in a solid performance in Miss Terex Australian Supercross Series.
Yeah, well, that's it. We see Durant still back there in 5th place, and he's got Ryan Marmont all over the back of him. So to be in the latter stages of a race and still have Ryan Marmont, the seasoned veteran with so many championships under his belt, still doing a good job. Now, to me, it doesn't look like, I'm watching Durant, I'm not thinking that he's faded massively. It doesn't look like the tongue's in the sprocket and he's about to throw out the anchor and go, I've had enough. He looks like he's still charging reasonably hard. He's just got some super fast guys up ahead of him. And I believe it looks like Durant's actually about to put a lap down on Luke Plout.
Yeah, well, if you had said that to me at the start of the night, I would have said, what's wrong with you? But as you said, with some of these young guys, they've just got a few lessons to learn in this sport, and this will be a great learning lesson. Michael Marty and Gavin Eels, the guys from Serco, they'll get Luke Cloud back in, they'll sort him out, and they'll get him back out there. And you bet your bottom dollar when we go to Phillip Island, this kid will be lightning fast again.
He sure will, as we see Ryan Marmont around the outside, trying to get past Stapleton. And it looks to be, shaking of the head to Ryan Marmont, almost coming together with the Honda rider. And he wasn't happy with that, but hey, he's just going to have to try to remount another challenge and see if he can get around.
We said it before, but rubbing is racing. Marmont there just comes in a little bit as well and shows the wheel to Durant Stapleton. He just had a bit of the bobblehead going on there, Ryan Marmont. Wasn't particularly happy with that, but Durant Stapleton, well, he doesn't have to give up the position to anyone, and I can tell you, I don't think he's going to do it easily.
Well, maybe he thinks Durant's a lap down, I'm not sure. But no, he's doing a great job, and it's good to see that Doggy's charging back nice and hard from a not the best start.
Very experienced campaigner, Ryan Marmont. He knows how to work all 15 laps of a moto, and here he is now trying to find a way around Durant Stapleton. Looks to me to probably be just a little bit quicker again, showing that wheel to Stapleton.
Yeah, hopped that big triple there. That was a great one, and he's charging up the inside. And looks like a pass could be made here. No, he's cutting back to the inside, and quite possibly here's the triple, and he's lining up for the block pass here, and a great, nice, aggressive pass there from Doggy.
Did very well, flowed through that corner as well, and carried good speed. I think that's the last lap ball we're just seeing now for number 2, Gavin Faith. 1 lap left to run, this Morris Park circuit.
Have a look at Gavin Faith. He has done a little bit of a trail ride here. He looks like he's going very slow, but have a look very closely and you'll see he's still probably the fastest on the track. The only one that would be even close is he gets a little bit of a kick in the rear end there. That'd be just a little bit similar to what we saw with Hayden Melrose on the last lap. What is it with Dubbo here in the last lap? Let's just give the leaders a little bit of a fright. Just when they think they've got it in the bag, we'll give them a little bit of a scare. But if you watch him, he's so smooth, electrically smooth, and he doesn't have long to go now.
Only a quarter lap left to run now for Gavin Faith. The young American's done a fantastic job tonight. Had his hands full with Durant Stapleton just a little bit early, but by the time he got by Durant Stapleton, he's made every post a winner.
Yeah, an exceptional job. Yuriv Konski will be over the moon at the moment. Last corner and up and over the finish line jump. Gavin Faith on the Carlton Dry Thor Honda takes maximum points here at round 1. Second place, Cade Mosey comes through on the Monster Energy Kawasaki.
Third to Luke Stike. Stephen Clark will get 4th. Ryan Marmont rounding out the top 5. After a fantastic start, Durant Stapleton slips back to 6th, just in front of the first 2-stroke of the evening, Kieran Hall.
Yeah, great job there. Mitch Norris back there in 10th place. 9th was Nick Sutherland, as you mentioned. Scotty Collum back there in 8th, but what a job from Gavin Faith. He came, he saw, he conquered. Let's go down and hear what he had to say.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was a pretty tricky track tonight. A little bit slick in some spots, and you just had to ride smooth, and yeah, it worked out good.
The fitness ain't an issue. I've been training really hard, so I was just trying to get some clean laps in at the start, and there was riders going everywhere, so I just had to try and stay out of the trouble. But I think we did good. First round in, a couple more to go, so just got to got to knuckle down and really try and work on getting some good heat races to get a better gate pick.
I just had a half decent start and made a few silly mistakes and lost a few positions, you know, and made my work a lot harder. But you know, the Serco Metal Militia Yamaha was working pretty decent out there tonight. But hats off to the whole team. But you know, hopefully we can come out swinging on round 2 at Phillip Island and get back a bit higher on this box, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, great job there, boys. Let's take a look at the Pro Lights Championship standings. Gavin Faith at the top with 25, back to Cade Mosick, 22 points, and Luke Stike in third with 20.
Interesting to note here as well, Ryan Marmite just a little bit further down in 5th. He'll definitely be a long-term challenger for this one. Luke Clout, after you and I talking him up earlier, down in 14th. So a little bit of work to do for the young charger from the Serco team.
A lot of points to be made up for Errol Willis also. So he's going to have to come out firing at Phillip Island if he wants to try to make up some points. Well, Cam, it's been a cracker here at Dubbo for round 1.
Amazing racing, isn't it? And Gavin Faith, well, he's proven to be the man to beat.
He is going to take some catching later on in this series. On behalf of myself, Lee Hogan, Cam Williams and Jerry Bernardo, thanks for joining us here at Dubbo. We'll see you next round at Phillip Island.